Can you believe it's already April? Today is April 2nd. The garden is bursting full of blooms, new foliage, new growth. So I would like to take you around the garden and show you some of them. We'll start with the front garden and then we'll move over to the back garden. Let's go ahead and get started. We will start in the front here first, give you an overview. This is what I have referred to as the Japanese maple court or maple court. If you have another name, that would be great. Please let me know. I was thinking it could be called Maple Lane, Maple Circle. I think those are the other two. Anyway, the reason for that is you could see that there's a maple tree right there. There's another Japanese maple there. You can see all the reddish foliage there. So there are two weeping Japanese maples and then two upright. There's one that's actually green right there. That's a weeping one. So if we come farther up, this is our ornamental cherry. This year, I think it got some setback because of the 3 to 4 days freezing temperatures recently. I don't remember seeing more leaves in the past, but I could be wrong. So this is the one that would produce big clusters of blooms, but this year you can see they're not as big. I know last year they were a lot more compact and bigger. So we have 3 of those, and this is the hydrangea tardiva. It's a panicle hydrangea. Look at the beautiful tender leaves. I just love the leaves. It is putting on some nice growth this year. So looking forward to seeing more blooms this year. And the bloom heads are so beautiful. So the seed heads, I should say the bloom heads, and then later on they turn into seed heads. They just look so gorgeous. So I would recommend this. This is an older hydrangea, of course, but it's new to me and I love it. Look at this hosta. You can see this is on the bluish side. We've got some nice tender leaves of the fern here, and this guy is going to town this year. And we got a bleeding heart in the back. I just love new growth. And if we come up, we see new growth on this dwarf Alberta spruce. These are the new growth. If you want something that is slow growing, this is a good option because this has been here for, I would say, since 2020, 2021, and all the other ones that are in the ground, they're pretty small as well. So a good container conifer to have. Look all the nice growth on this one. I think it's because this one is getting more sun. And this clematis right here is taking off very nicely. I did see one bloom. Look all the buds. Buds, buds. The flower is right there. Let's go to the other side. There's one right there. And another one on its way. What is this called? Dianthus. I do not know the name right now. This is a proven winner's plant. And look at all the beautiful buds. We should get a nice color bloom. I think it's like a nice magenta color, and I love magenta. And then we got some species, Dianthus, next to it. Beautiful. All right, let's move on. Let's look at this nice patch of, look at this. Nice patch of creeping phlox. The crazy thing is, it did not get affected by the 3 to 4 days of freezing temps at all. Isn't that so crazy? And we had temps in the upper 20s. And I think one day was like 30 degrees. Look at that. I need to transplant this to a different location because I don't think I like it in this location too much. I would like to move it to the front so it could be appreciated better. But this one, it is showing off when we are driving up the driveway. You could see this really well against the yellow of the sunshine ligustrum. It is a nice combo. And I was worried that the Amsonia was dying. So these guys are coming up slower than I thought. And I'm surprised that there is a bud right there, even though it's such a small plant right now. And please excuse the weeds. I am so behind with weeding this area. Look at that. Usually they are a lot taller. So not sure what is going on. And these guys, you know, they just came up, I would say last week, and it's already putting on buds. So they're going to be coming up soon. They're going to open up. So it is very surprising to me that it is this small, meaning it's short. It's short in stature, but still getting some nice buds right now. These plants were actually a lot taller last year at this time of the season. Why do I not know this plant? Peony. Oh my gosh. Yes, this is a Lady Anna peony. The buds are coming up. And should be opening up maybe in a week or two. It's beautiful. There's another one right there that is not as farther along as the other one. There should be another one right there and another one over there. Let's give you an overview. Do you see that? Look at the Chinese snowball viburnum. It is making a statement, but to a point where you couldn't even see this plant, right? You weren't even noticing this. This is the American persimmon. And it is a fast grower. From what I have been told, it doesn't produce, you know, like tasty fruits like the Japanese type or the other one. I don't know if the other one's called Chinese. Anyway, at the time I was just thinking, you know, it really doesn't matter. But after that, I was like, you know, I do like the variety that my father has. It's the ones that are more squatty. They're shorter in stature. And with the American one, you actually need a male and female to produce nice fruits. I think I should be able to produce, I mean, not me. I think it should be able to produce fruits, but here's the thing, only if it's a female. So I'll have to do some research to let you know later on when this is getting, you know, like more developed to see if this might be a male or a female. Unfortunately, this was purchased at a local plant sale and they did not know whether this was a male or female as well. So this is supposed to be our kind of like our shade tree over here. That was the goal for this tree, not really for the fruit. So anyway, that's the history behind that plant. And let's move on. This is Sugar Tip, Rose of Sharon, and you could see that the plant did get some damage from the days of freezing temperatures we had recently. So, but what you also see is the new growth. So I'm not worried about that at all. We should be seeing blooms later on. And look at this elderberry. It is so tall. This plant grows like a weed here. And I'll see little ones popping up in certain places. So I got to make elderberry syrup last year, and it was nice. It tasted really sweet. Well, I had to put in sugar, but yeah, I think I'm gonna do that again. It was nice to be able to use something that you have and try something new. So anyway, that is elderberry, and look at the Chinese snowball viburnum. I still like it at this stage because you still see some greens. Some green and white. Later on, when these bloom heads mature, as they mature, they will become whiter and whiter. All right. If we come down, you can see the autumn joy sedum. This is what the plant looks like in the spring. Nice compact clusters of foliage. I just love it at this stage as well. Let's give you an overview of this space. We are in the back garden now, and what is popping is that guy right there. This is an unknown azalea. As you recall, I have removed all of my azaleas except for this guy because this one we did not see a lot of the azalea lacebug. There were a few. I removed the affected leaves, the ones that I could see, but I know that I have missed some. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, look at how beautiful this is. This area gets full sun. The good thing about this one is that it's on a slope, this azalea, unlike the other ones. So I don't know if that's the reason why it is healthier than the other azaleas. So I'm not sure, but look at how beautiful the blooms are. So many blooms. And the color just works very well with the yellow interest of this whole garden. We pan back. I know it's not purple, but for some reason that color works with the yellow really well. Look at this crazy weed. Usually I try to be, to show you the best as much as possible when we do a garden tour, but unfortunately not this spring. Once the paver project is complete, I will get going full blast on weeding chores and all that. Look at this little vignette. We got the candy stripe, creeping phlox. We got sedum angelina, blue star juniper, yucca, sunshine ligustrum. It is beautiful. I know the yellow and the pinks, the yellows and pinks don't really go together. I just like this vignette because it has covered the ground really well. So you definitely get less weeds. If we did not have this, there would be more weeds growing. And then right here, this is Coreopsis. Is that Coreopsis? No. I think it is. Tick seed is a different kind of Coreopsis producing orange flowers. There's another weed right there. I'll pull that one out. Now, if you don't have the ability to buy a lot of plants, just use whatever you have in the meantime to cover the ground, which is what I have done here. These are the plants that I have throughout the garden. These two, the sedum and the phlox. So I just, put them wherever that I would like to suppress weeds. And you can always remove them and put in better plants later on. So they are doing their job in covering up the ground for sure, even though aesthetically they might not look as good. But I don't think I mind this at all. It's interesting that the pink and the white, they stand out so much more than the yellow. I would think that, together they would, but this one does a lot more standing out. All right, let's go over this bridge. All right, it's been several hours later. Today was a pre-sale event for a group of master gardeners and I to go purchase some plants. So I got several plants and I'm excited to show you those. Decided to go ahead and plant them instead of waiting. And I can show you those if you would like to stay on at the very end. So we are in the woodland area right now, Woodland Garden. And let's go ahead and talk about this Japanese magnolia. And it just got so hot right now, so I'm in my hat and I don't have any thermos on right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. All right, so the freezing temps that we recently got did kill off a lot of the blooms, but there were still some buds that did not open yet. So these are them, and we get to enjoy them together with the leaves. I like this plant because when the blooms show up, you don't get the leaves. You don't get much of the leaves yet, at least. But now you see lots of leaves and blooms as well. The blooms tend to be a lot smaller, but this one looks like it's the biggest one. If we go on that way, you can see some pink blooms up ahead. And those are the rhododendrons. I believe they are called Southgate rhododendrons. Beautiful, I think I would call that soft pink blooms. And this is the first year that all 5 of them have blooms on them. Some more than others. There's one over there somewhere. They look exactly like azaleas, right? All azaleas are rhododendrons, but not all rhododendrons are azaleas. Oh, there's a butterfly right there. This one is the biggest out of all of them. I was not expecting all of them to, grow big just because they're in the woodland area and they have a lot of root competition with the bigger trees. So these were planted in 2020, and if we come down, a new addition to you. This was purchased last year. Well, it's new to me too. It was purchased at the Mother's Day plant sale last year, and I think I did not put it in the ground until the fall of last year. When I researched, it said that it's supposed to be pink, but this is more of a hot pink, so it almost it contrasts with that soft pink rhododendron. I wanted them to have the same pink color, but this one looks more like a hot pink, so it still looks beautiful. And in nature, plants just grow wherever. You're not gonna get the colors that you want. I mean, the color combination. And since we're here, let me go ahead and show you some of the dogwood blooms. This tree was here when we purchased a property. Looks like it's towards the end of its blooming season or blooming time. All right, so now I would like to show you some native plants that were purchased at, I don't know, like a few years ago, and they have not done much just because I feel like there's just a lot of root competition right around this area. But because they are native plants, they are very tough. So I have one of them right there, somewhere right there. And this is the red buckeye. Last year, a few leaves came out and then the leaves all died off. I don't know, maybe it's just under stress and that's its way to cope with the stressful situation. So right now it is looking bigger than before. All right, here it is. This is the red buckeye. This is a North American native plant. It's a shrub, or it can be a small tree. And I just love the red blooms. They look tubular. It's looking good. I hardly come to this area to water, so whatever it gets from the sky. And it is doing so good. Native plants, they are resilient. They just need some time to get adapted to their environment. This is another buckeye. This is another buckeye, but this is the bottle brush buckeye. And it is not doing anything, right? It's just here. I'm not sure what's going on. But I did do the scratch test earlier, and you can see that there is still green right there. So it is still alive. It's not producing any foliage. It could be that it did take some damage during our freezing temps throughout the winter. So anyway, we're just gonna leave it alone because this is what the red buckeye did last season as well. So the leaves will come out when this plant is ready. Let me show you the other buckeye. This one was putting on foliage like this, and then it died. The foliage died off, and then I thought it had died, but I did come here and do the scratch test. It was still alive, the stem. And look at it this year. Again, I hardly come here to water this, and sometimes I do forget that it's here. So anyway, excited to see that these are all doing good, and I'm glad that I got to show this to you with something growing, not just sticks. All right, coming down here, this is angel white lilac. I am so happy to see this plant putting on foliage. Last year, I cannot remember if it did put on foliage and then everything just die back, and I was worried that it was not going to do anything, but I did come here and do the scratch test and realized that it was still alive. So this plant is supposed to bloom sometime in May. I have not seen any buds yet. It really doesn't matter to me if it doesn't want to bloom this year or next year. It's just so nice to know that it is still alive. And the reason that I'm so glad is because this particular spot is like a death spot for plants. I have put that Japanese magnolia here and it was just struggling. I also had an anise, Florida anise plant here, and it died, did not make it. And then now this is here and it's doing great. Now I did move it up. Where the other two were planted was right in the center here, so I decided to move this up. I mean, it's not that much of a difference, so it's either because it has moved up and it's a better location, even though it's what, like at least like 2 feet, or this plant is just very tough. It doesn't really matter either way. I'm so glad that it is doing so much better. It used to be in a sunnier spot after it was planted there for a year. The next year it was blooming beautifully, and then it just got too hot. Decided to put at this location. So last year, it, like mentioned, didn't do well, and this year it is bouncing back. So I think it might be here to stay. Next up we have this yellow Japanese magnolia. You can see there are blooms that have opened up there. It's supposed to be a narrow growing magnolia. I did not know that. I did not want it to get so tall, so I pruned off the leader. So you can see that it's not doing much branching. So because of my mistake, unbeknownst to me, what the plant could do or would do, or its growth habit. So because of that, you just see what it's looking like right now. Like I wish like one of them would turn into a leader. Like I was debating whether to prune one of them or all of them off except for one and just have that be the leader. You would think that the plant would know how to do that by itself. Anyway, this is a unique one because it produces yellow blooms. All right, we made it back to the front garden and I wanted to show you that native azalea, which I totally forgot to mention it. It seems like I talk about that plant all the time when it was not in bloom, and now that it was in bloom, I totally forgot. You can see we got some yellow blooms, yellow orange blooms, and a lot of them have been spent already. So when it does, when it's at the end of its blooming cycle, or it's, you know, the age of the bloom, this is what it does. It just slides over like that. These smells like honeysuckles. But after the blooms, you'll see leaves, and I enjoy seeing the leaves as well and the structure of it. So yeah, wanted to show you this one. This is our biggest native azalea out of all the other ones. And of course, this was the one that was planted back in 2020. Wish that I could show it to you when everything was in full bloom. But regardless, even the calyxes, they're still beautiful. I'm so glad that I got to spend this garden tour with you, and we got to see some beautiful leaves, blooms, new growth together. So I think that is it for this video. I will stay on and show you the plants that I purchased today and planted if you would like to stay on. If not, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and hopefully you found some of it helpful. And until the next video, I hope you take care. Bye for now. Several plants that were purchased today. We got coleus, 2 different colors of begonias. Let's see what else. I'm blanking out right now. Oh, and a blue salvia. All right, so this is the first one. And this one produces this beautiful salmon color bloom with a dark foliage. I love the foliage. Look at that. I like that yellow with the salmon color. This is the other begonia. This one produces white blooms. I wanted to get, you know, the ones with blooms, a little bit of blooms there, so that way we could at least see what color it's going to be. And next we have coleus. I love the dark on the outside and this, I don't know, it's almost like salmon color too, right? I think it looks so cool. And I only wanted one because coleus is easy to propagate. So what I'm going to do later is just I'm going to pinch off the top here and it will encourage budding here where the node is. And then I could stick the cuttings in water and we will have more coleuses. So if you can wait a few weeks, it's just better to just buy one. More economical, of course. So the last one is this blue salvia. It was one container that I was able to split into 3 individual plants, and they have been planted around this David Austin rose. And I think the combo would look really good together, the yellow rose with the blue salvia. The pictures show that it was an actual blue salvia, but I don't know. Sometimes when they say blue, it looks purple. But even if it's purple, it will still complement this rose color really well. So anyway, hopefully the picture was correct that it is an actual true blue salvia. So that's another good tip. If you can buy one plant and just go ahead and divide, that would be good. I was not expecting to divide the plant actually. I was just expecting to get one plant. I looked at it after, you know, planting the other ones, and I was like, you know, I could divide these into 3 plants, and here they are. So those are it. So I guess I just ended up just buying 4 plants. If you stayed on this long, thank you so much for watching until the end, and until the next video, I hope you take care. Bye for now.